I'm Carson Holbrook.
I'm Micah McCoy.
And this is Youth on the Hill.
This past week, we talked about being fishers of men. But before we get into all that, Micah, I have 2 questions for you just for today.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, if you had to choose, what kind of fish would you be?
If I were a fish, there's lots of fish in the sea.
Just like the saying goes.
Yeah, there's lots of fish in the sea to choose from. But that's a hard question. I'm gonna say I would be a clownfish.
Why clownfish?
Because I like Nemo, so I would want to be a clownfish. No, I don't really feel like I'm a clownfish. Hold on, I need to think about this. Let me think about it for a second.
6 hours later.
Okay, here's my final answer. If I were a fish, I would be a catfish.
Why a catfish?
After all that discussion, after all that time of me trying to figure out what fish I'd be a catfish. I don't know. I just,
Whiskers.
Yeah. I would. I'd have some whiskers. I don't know. It'd be cool, I guess, to be a little catfish. Yeah. I don't know. What would you be? What kind of fish would you be?
I would be a great white.
You'd be a great white shark.
Great white shark.
Why?
Because they're not really the dominant species out in the ocean, because they can be killed by other fish, but I've always had a little fascination with sharks.
Okay.
They're so neat.
Okay. You'd be a shark.
Yeah.
I'd be a little catfish.
Yep.
Okay.
Speaking of big fish, what's the biggest fish you've caught?
Okay. What is the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life? I don't know. Like, the biggest fish I've ever caught was like a catfish that was like, I don't know, not that impressive. But my mother, let me tell you about it. My mother will outfish me every time we go fishing. And Tabitha. Tabitha will always outfish me as well. But my mother, we went to this campsite once, and my mom caught this catfish that was literally almost as big as her body. Like, this sucker was massive. Like, he was as thick as like my thigh. Like, he was literally as like almost as long as my mom's whole body. Like, this dude was a hefty boy. Hefty boy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we went fishing in the ocean just this past summer, and I still basically caught nothing. My mom caught a couple baby sharks. I was like, Mom, stop. Let me catch a fish. I don't have great experience with fishing. Just throwing that out there. How about you? What's the biggest fish or most interesting fish that Carson Holbrook has caught?
Most interesting? I wasn't using a fishing rod, but I did catch it in the net. It was a little seahorse.
You caught a seahorse?
Yeah.
Where were you at?
So we were on vacation down in Florida.
Okay.
And we went, because we had a little dock right outside the condo. So we went out one morning, and we were going to fish. So, and I also had like a net you could throw out, but that's not what I caught the seahorse in. Okay. It was like, those nets that you would grab like that, is trying to scoop it up out of the water?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Okay.
And we
That's
scooped
impressive.
it out. And I don't know if it was a male or female or not, because I don't really know how to tell for the seahorses.
Yeah.
Fun fact, seahorses, the males are the ones who
carry the baby.
Carry the babies.
I have heard that. It's very interesting. I've never heard of someone catching a seahorse, though. So kudos to you.
It was a little thing.
That's super cool, though. That's super cool.
Neat, yeah.
How long did you have it out of the water? Just a little bit and threw it back in?
Just a little bit, yeah. I literally tossed it back in.
Yeah, that's super neat. I don't even know what a seahorse feels like.
Like a fish.
Like a fish? Does it feel slimy like a fish?
Not really. It feels slimy, but not as slimy. It's a different kind of texture. But
well,
yeah.
I'm impressed, Carson.
Well, since we're speaking about fishing, will you, Micah, tell us about becoming fishers of men?
Yeah, sure. So this past week at Youth Church, we talked about being fishers of men. We've been going through the book of Mark a little bit for the past 2 weeks, and we were talking about specifically Mark chapter 1, verses, I believe it's 16 through 18. Yeah, where Jesus is basically getting his disciples to follow him, and he walks up to Simon and Andrew, and they were fishermen. So they had their nets. They made their money by fishing, and that's what their trade was. That's what their career was. They were fishermen. And he walks up to them and says, hey, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And this is really interesting, right? From fishermen to fishers of men. And when you hear that, you're like, what in the world does that mean? Does that literally mean like I am going and I'm, men are drowning in the water and I'm fishing them out of the water? No, that's not what Jesus means. Being fishers of men, meaning that he's going to turn his disciples into people who reach down into the depths of whatever people are sinking in, and he's going to fish them out of whatever they're going through. And that's what Jesus does for us, right? Jesus, whatever we're sinking in, whether it be sin, whether it be depression, whether it be anxiety, or whatever we might face in life, things can tend to make us feel like we're drowning. And Jesus, what he does is he fishes us out, right? We're drowning in the water. We reach up our hand for help. Jesus comes down and fishes us out of whatever we're in, the sin that we're in, and saves our soul. He also reaches down and pulls us out of whatever stuff we're going through. And so Jesus is the fisher of men. But not only is he the fisher of men, is that he makes us fishers of men, so that we can go about our lives helping people be pulled out of whatever they're going through. So that's kind of what we talked about, and I encourage everyone who's there, I encourage anyone watching. Maybe you're drowning. Maybe you're drowning in something in your life. You're drowning in sin, in the mistakes that you've made, in shame or guilt. Maybe you're drowning in depression or anxiety, sadness, fear, stress. I don't know.
Anger.
Lust. Yeah.
It's the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, anger, lust, whatever you're drowning in. Know that we have a God who doesn't want you to sit there and drown, and he's reaching his hand down, willing to help pull you out of whatever that is. And you might just need to reach your hand up and say, Jesus, I need you. So that might be you, and you might need Jesus to pull you out, and he will today. Wherever you're at, whatever you're going through, he'll pull you out of it. And you might get pulled out today, and then tomorrow morning you wake up and you feel like you're drowning again. You might need to reach up again and say, Jesus, pull me out of this. So maybe that's you, and I encourage you, if that's you, reach out to Jesus. Talk to him. He's right there with you to talk to you wherever you're at, and he'll be there for you. But maybe you're not drowning. Maybe you're not drowning in something, but maybe you, like the disciples were, are being called to become a fisher of men. All right? Every single person who's watching, me and you, have people in our lives that are probably drowning in something. With COVID going on, there's all this hurt. There's all these people feeling lonely, people with school feeling stressed. A lot of us get to points where we feel like we're drowning. And it's our jobs as Christians not to just be fished out of those things we're drowning in by Jesus, but to then become the fisher of men. By the help of Jesus, God gives us the ability and the strength to be able to help others, who are deep in sin. Help pull them out, get them out of that mess. Deep in shame, deep in guilt, deep in anger, deep in stress or anxiety, fear, depression, sadness, whatever it may be. So that's it for this week. Just a short little lesson on what it means to be a fisher of men, fishers of men. Maybe you're the one that's drowning and you're going through something in your life. Reach out to Jesus and he'll rescue you from whatever it is. Or maybe you know someone who is drowning and is deep in whatever they're going through. You can be the one to reach down to them, help pull them out through the help of Jesus, and be a fisher of men.
Something I picked up from that, you mentioned this a little bit. You said you could be pulled out from the water one day and then the next day you fall back in. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about our God. He loves us so much that he will keep coming back for us and giving us that new opportunity just because that's how much he loves us. He's willing to put everything on the line to save just us. Yeah. That one person. So if you are drowning, just take a second out of your day, wherever you are, and pray. And just think about it for a second. What is your problem? Is it anxiety? Are you full of aggression? Are you depressed? Whatever is wrong, take a deep breath, think about it, and then pray. Ask God to help you out, and he will, because that's what he does. Yeah. That's his love.
Yeah, that's awesome, Carson. So true. So true.
Thank you guys for joining us this week. I'd love to see you next week here on Youth on the Hill.